What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So I wanted to make a video earlier about using if-else statements. Kind of got a new idea and ended up making the video that was 20 minutes long that wasn't really about if-else statements, though it used it in a practical example that was looking at assigning a refund rate to all the customers that we have inside of an online retail data set. I'm going to use that same data set here again. And if you're interested in seeing kind of a broader application of this if-else statement, I'm going to put that other video that's significantly longer somewhere on the screen here, so you can check that out if you're interested. So this online retail data set, it gives us retail sales. And so we're just going to work with that. And so if we just look at what we have for our sales data set, we have an invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, all kinds of information about the purchases that were made. And so we're going to particularly look at the quantity variable. So if we look at the quantity variable, we'll do table sales quantity. What we're going to see is we're going to see a bunch of positive values, right? So we have an order that was nearly 81,000, and then we also have a bunch of negative values. And we have that same order that was nearly 81,000, that's a negative. And what we're going to assume for our purposes here is that a negative value means that it was a refund and a positive value means that it was a purchase. So imagine we have this data set and we want to, for whatever reason, split our data set into purchases and refunds. Well, we can use an if-else statement in order to do that. So I'm going to create a new data set here called sales refund, and it's going to use our sales data set, and we're going to mutate to create a new variable. I'm going to call this new variable order type, and our order type is going to use this if-else function. So as you can see from the tooltip that pops up here, the if-else function is actually really straightforward. So we have three arguments. The first one is a test or a condition that we want to test. The second argument is what do we want to have happen if that condition that we're testing evaluates to true. So in other words, if that statement returns in colloquial speak, yes, it is true, then what do we want it to do? And then the final argument is if that initial condition returns false or no, what do we want to do in that case? So in our case, remember, we wanted to evaluate if the order type was a purchase or a refund. So the condition that I'm going to look at here is a quantity of less than 0. So if the quantity is less than 0, that means that we have a negative quantity, right? So what we want to say for the order type is that we want to say that it's a refund. Alternatively, if that condition is not true, then that means the quantity is greater than or equal to 0, and we want to say that that was a purchase. So if we go through and we run this code here, and we look at sales refund, and we count the order type variable that we have, and again, all this count function is doing, it's basically running the table just as we had before, but it's just a slightly different way to do it. So we have the purchase, and we have nearly 400,000 of them that are purchases, and then a refund, and we have 8,000 of them, which are refunds. So one of the other things you might be wondering is, okay, what if I need to have multiple conditions? For example, not sure why you would want to do this, but let's pretend for a moment that you would, where you'd want to specify that somebody had a large refunded order or just a small refunded order, or it was a purchase. So I'm going to use our sales refund data set now, and I'm going to call this sales refund nested. And we're going to use our sales refund data set, and we're going to look at that order type 2 this time. And so this is going to be a nested if-else statement. And all we do with that is it acts pretty much like normal. So this time, again, we want to evaluate a quantity of less than, I'm going to say negative 1,000. So they returned 1,000 items in their order. We're going to call that a big refund. So if they did have a quantity less than negative 1,000, then we're going to say that this is a big refund. However, we have another condition that we want to check because we still want to say if there's a negative quantity, then we want it to be coded as a refund. So instead of adding something like refund or purchase inside of our no condition, our no condition on this first test is going to be another if-else statement. So we're going to use the if-else statement, and this one is going to be just like we had before. We're going to do quantity less than 0. We're going to say it's a refund. Otherwise, we're going to say it's a purchase. So what we have here is we have this same if-else statement that we have up here, right? They're the same exact thing. The only difference is when we go to nested, our no condition is now holding another if-else statement that will evaluate, and then this purchase checks each of these conditions. And if all of the conditions that we're checking inside of our nested if-else statement evaluate to false, then we're going to be assigning it the no value from our condition test. So if we run this and we look at table, sales, refund, nested, and we look at the order type 2, we can see that there was only 12 of them that were a big refund. There was still the same that were the purchase, and we see the 8,800 that are just regular refunds. And if we do the 8,893 plus the 12, we see that all we were doing there is really disaggregating this refund that we categorized earlier. So if you had, for example, another condition that you wanted to check, let's go through and just do that really, really briefly. I'm going to call this sales nest, and we'll take our sales refund nested, and then we'll mutate. We'll call this order type 3. And then I'm just going to actually I'm going to take this for the sake of time. So we're going to use the same exact thing that we had before. But now for our second condition, we no longer want to say that it's a purchase. We want to evaluate something else. So we have a third if else statement, and we have if else quantity is less than 1,000. Then we're going to say small purchase. Otherwise, we're going to say big purchase. And let me move this over here so we can see all that stuff. Okay. So now, again, what we're going to evaluate, is it less than 1,000? If so, we're going to say it's a big refund. If it's not less than 1,000, but it is still negative, we're going to claim it as a refund. And then if it's between 0 and 1,000 positive, we're going to say it was a small purchase. And if they purchased more than 1,000 units from us, we're going to say that it was a big purchase. So if we now look at sales nest and we count order type 3, whoops, I called it still order type 2. That's all right. So we can see that of our purchases, there was only 116 that were over 1,000. Of those 116 that were over 1,000, 12 of them were refunded. So we could theoretically look at these different brackets using these if else statements to figure out if there's a higher percentage of refunds given certain quantity thresholds. So there's other ways to do this as well. Something like using case when may actually be more efficient as we get to more of these cases, but that is a topic for another video. So if you guys want me to make that, please let me know in the comments, and also please like, comment, and subscribe so that I can keep doing this and know that I'm producing content and valuable insights into R that are actually useful for people that are looking to learn. So I hope you guys stick around till the next time. Till then, take care.